Awesome, awesome. Thanks a lot, everyone, for your quick feedbacks. Happy to see the enthusiasm and energy that everyone has got here. Great. So with that, before I get started on the given topic, which is driving real world impact with AI innovations, and also on top of it, we have this very well known AI tool called Anthropic Cloud. I think everyone who's there in the AI space knows about Anthropic Cloud, OpenAI, ChatGPT, and Google Gemini. These are the very well-known names. There is a good competition that keeps on going between these well-known players. But again, Anthropic is again one of the top leading AI service providers in the market. And before we again get started, let me give a very brief about myself. Shiti has already given some, but my name is Rushikesh Meharwade, and I have around 14 years of experience in the IT industry. And out of this 14 years, I initially spent some time, 5, 6 years of my initial career in testing, performance testing, production engineering on the different type of testing based fields. But around 2017 16 we used to work on a lot of data. We used to process production data, and that time there was this two key important technologies which were driving the whole world. One was big data engineering, and second was the data science, the sexiest field of 20th century. It was there. So data was a core thing, and I wanted to really learn how do we process a large scale data. I was exploring big data, and also suddenly there was this big data science. And from many years, like 5, 6 years, I used to keep looking into multiple courses. So uh, the Coursera's machine learning course was one of a well-known courses around that time to learn machine learning. But one of the challenge was I was not good with math. So I was a diploma student, and from diploma I shifted to engineering. Like we directly shift to second year. I had KTs in math, so I had a very bad experience with my math. So whenever I used to start data science, there was always a math, and I used to stop the online trainings. Like 4, 5 years I did this, but then around 2017, there was this course that came through the Great Learning around business intelligence and business analytics Babi course, which was there. So that was a 1 year classroom based training in Mumbai. Like it used to happen monthly, 2 or 3 days. And I was fortunate enough at that times to get into it. And that mentored and structured learning over the 1 year really helped me. And again, that was a foundation. That was an R, and we got exposure to good domain based knowledge. I didn't get immediate job after that. It still required some effort, some knowledge, and some exposure. And then slowly I got into the roles around lead data scientist, manager of data science. And lastly, I used to work as a vice president of data science in Motilal Oswal. So I got to work on text, NLP, AI, agentic AI, all of it. And from last 1 year, I've been working with corporate trainings. We do our own consulting in AI. We build AI integrated products, a lot of things on that. Yeah, now I think enough about me. Let's get started on the today's interesting topic. Okay, so Rajesh, yeah, please help me with the next slide. Perfect. Now, why this topic really matters? Okay, and before we go into this, one of a common thing that I try to understand from people is uh, what is your definition? Okay, we'll come to this. But before we get to this, can all of you help me understand what is AI as per you? Okay, just use the chat and help me understand what is AI as per you. These two terms, artificial intelligence. What do you think it basically means? So come on, quick, over the chat, help me with your responses. Okay, a very good uh, one, Arya, a job eater. Great. So Muthian helps in automating the processes. Think like human. Okay, not human intelligence. Very interesting outcomes that I see here. Good. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. I have some of the responses you got me here, hearing here, like from me. Learning, reasoning, and problem solving. Awesome, Karthik, and great. I think all the responses are good. Great, great. Anything else? Solve problems in a quick and what we want to get the answer, mimic like human. Perfect. Great, great. So, see, the overall definition comes around the AI is how do we mimic the artificial intelligence? See, human intelligence is not easy. It's a very tricky thing, even if we take it granted. Okay, a lot of things, the way we understand, the way we learn, we take it granted, but it is still not easy. Learning the language takes a good many years, like from the childhood, the way we become big. So much of time goes into learning hands, like movements, learning languages. So I have a 3 year kid, like as I see her growing, I've seen like how learning takes a good amount of time. And now these things we are teaching to the system. And last 4 years has been dramatically exciting in the world of AI, where so much is happening. And now we have multiple terms. I just to give you a picture, like AI has been misused a lot. The original definition was more of, as you guys are saying right now, it was about human intelligence mimicking. How do we mimic it? So that was the original definition. But last 4 5 years, I would say everything is AI. Computers has AI by default. You have AC with the AI, you have fridge with the AI, you have a car with the AI. So AI as a term has been misused a lot. So there is a thing called as the AGI. So people shifted that original definition to a term called as the AGI, artificial general intelligence. You also have thing called as the ASI, artificial super intelligence, which is like creating something that can go beyond what humans can do. Okay, so that as a AI is what is making us and giving us so many things. Now, around 2022, when ChatGPT came up, before to that also we were building models and all. But when GPT 3.5 and ChatGPT, which was an application built on top of the GPT 3.5, GPT 3.5 was a model at the underlying. Okay, there are LLM models, large language models. So that was a model at the bottom, and ChatGPT was an application. So ChatGPT, when it got open, it allowed everyone access to a AI, which was not feasible earlier. It was only limited to some people. Then, with the advent of ChatGPT, many players came in, and AI became such a widespreadly available to everyone. Enterprises started moving to that, and there was so much of innovation that is happening. So when ChatGPT came up, one of a very interesting thing was prompt engineering. How do you prompt the systems, or how do you prompt engineering? Nothing but instructions engineering. Okay, I'll just name it differently. It's about how do you instruct the systems to get a right possible outcome. So around 2023, that was a core key problem statement, like where people were building chatbots. The chatbots were pure question and getting answer, where this systems are able to understand you very well. Then there was a thing called as a RAG around 2024. One thing became popular was RAG. Okay, not go much, but getting enterprise data, which is humongous in size. You have thousands of documents, you have 10 thousands of documents, and you have a knowledge base internally that is of organization, which is not known to ChatGPT. ChatGPT only knows the general knowledge. But how do you make it know your enterprise knowledge that is vast and wide? To make it available, a system called as a RAG was invented, which is a retrieval augmented generation. Then even after that, the LLMs were still only generation. You're bringing data from here, there, everywhere, but you're still generating something. But the systems were so powerful that they can also act. That was not feasible, but a new thing that got invented called as a agentic. Okay, this new term that you will be keep hearing. And how many of you heard of, how many of you not heard of agentic AI? Okay, just a quick question before I, okay, not heard of agentic AI as a term. Anyone here who says they have not heard of this term? Okay, good to see that no one is saying yes. So I think it's a widely known term. Aware. Good. So it's a widely known term that has come up. And one more thing before I continue, just a quick um, note to everyone is if you have any questions, please don't keep it in your mind. Just immediately put it over the chat. Okay, sometimes we keep it in our mind until the end we forget. So I want you to just keep it over the chat. So at least for your remembering that you are able to put it. And I'll be keep looking at the chat in between and I'll be able to answer in between. Or we will also at the end we'll have a time to answer around the question. So humble request would be the moment you have a question, just put it over the chat. So I'll be able to see it. quickly respond to it if it's important. Otherwise, we will answer it at the end. Okay, perfect. Now coming back to this, I'm just bringing in the history. So agentic AI is a thing that allowed us to create some acting systems. Okay, they can actually make a decision in the system. They can send emails behalf of you. They can do some research on behalf of you. They can perform some activity. They can do some analysis on behalf of you. Lot of these things they can do. And that is the future of overall AI that is making everyone feel scared. Okay, so one of a very interesting outcome here is a job eater. Okay, so I'll again discuss more on that after some time. But yes, so now again coming back to the PPT, enterprises are moving beyond just the simple chat interfaces. We are not just talking about building a chat interfaces which purely does the generation. We are now moving much more beyond that. Now, automation demand is increasing across every single industry. Currently, I do not know any single industry which doesn't use AI. Okay, be it marketing, finance, manufacturing, sales, any industry you name it, pharmacy or any of it, every industry has a demand for AI because it's a horizontal technology. It's not a vertical technology, but it's a horizontal technology that touches every single area. And we are also catering to multiple different domains in our consulting. So we see that it is applicable everywhere. Businesses need AI that can execute and not just do the generation. There are labels. Okay, there are simple applications which may only need generation. There are some applications which may need some actual action on behalf of the user, where the LLM will do a lot of backend hand-holding. The ChatGPT, GitHub Copilot, Codex, all of the systems that we know of, they are all called as an agentic system. Okay, I'll talk about it like why they are called as the agentic system after some time. But all of the systems are called as an agentic system. So the businesses are trying to transition toward that thing. Agentic AI reduces dependency on the manual workforce. As we see, one of this very interesting aspect that everyone is worried about, which is around the jobs. To be frank, I would like to say that jobs are going to go away. Okay, some jobs are going to be enhanced and some jobs are going to be eliminated. If you think of last 50 years, I think at the start of last 50 years there could be many jobs which are not there right now. There are many new jobs that got created. 20 years back, software engineering was a new field, right? Like software engineer just getting picked up in India to be specific, or all of this AI, data science, marketing specialist, all of these things like are the new age, new generation jobs like this. There will be many new jobs that will be created, and some of the jobs are going to be eliminated as part of automation because a lot of low level tasks are getting automated with the AI. So all those will have an impact, and people have to be going to the next level and need to learn how do they upskill and move to the next levels. So agentic AI, as they said, it reduces a lot of manual impact. I being a new founder, like again with a very lean team, with a small team, we can achieve so much of things nowadays that was not feasible even 1 or 2 years back. Okay, like in building the software or doing some automations, just with few people and the agentic AI systems together with you, you can achieve a lot more nowadays. Like I have a Telegram which is configured with OpenClaw. I think if some of you have heard of it, but it's similar to there's a one more system called as a Herms. I have my database, my mails, my complete folder system, my complete projects, everything the Hums agent can access, and I just control it over the Telegram. I can just ask it anything around my projects, my emails, and it can just answer anything. So the world is all changing toward this kind of automations with the agentic AI coming into the picture. And one of the very interesting agentic AI tool that came into the market recently was the Claude Cowork. So both tech and non-tech, like when you're using a Claude over the UI, it just gives you generation. But Claude Cowork that resides in your system and not just do the generation, but it can go beyond and do some more things. We will see some of that aspect. Yeah, I think we'll go to the next slide. I just see some questions popping up here. Let me just quickly have a look. Understand the difference between Gen AI, ML, data science role. How companies, industries are moving forward? Will they require ML engineer? I think this question I will keep it toward the end. I'll be able to answer it toward the end. Please remind me again on this question, Mutia. I'm a 12th pass out student, so should I do BSc in CS or engineering in these difficult times when fees are so much? Okay, interesting question. And again, it again requires a time to answer. So give me some time, and around the end we will answer for it. Okay, perfect. So let me now go ahead. Now, what is generative AI versus agentic AI? Some of the description I've been already giving that how the systems are different from each other. So when in 2022 ChatGPT came out, again, see, before to that also, we were doing all the systems like building AI. We were building our own AIs, like within using deep learning technology, which is the core algorithmic backbone of this LLM systems, which is a deep learning. So using deep learning, we were building our own natural language understanding, natural language processing based applications. But around 2017, this Google released a paper called as a attention is all you need. Okay, that was a paper name, and attention is one of a core strategy that was included as part of this deep learning model, which allowed us to go from generating earlier we were limited to generating only like 100 words or understanding 100 words in one go. But the transformers or attention mechanism, on top of attention, there is a one more type of model that was called as a transformer. If you guys know, anyone knows what is the full form of GPT? Can you put it quickly over the chat? I would assume you will not do the Google, but even if you do it, that's fine. Yeah, can you give me the full form of GPT? Just put it over the chat. Full form of GPT. I think everyone is using Chat GPT, but I want to see how many have actually tried to see what is the full form of GPT. Come on, quick. Just put it over the chat. Perfect, perfect, good. So then I can see now responses, generative pre-trained transformer, generative program transformation, generative pre-trained transformer. Good, good. So majority is here. So it's a generative pre-trained means it is already trained on some large amount of data, and it's called as a transformer. So transformer is a core model which is used internally. Before to that, we had models called as LSTM, long short-term memory, and RNN based models which were used to do NLP based processing. But when transformer came in, everyone shifted to it. But again, these models were large in size, running them in the local system was not feasible to get some output. Okay, people were scared to run it because they had a large size. So we tried to use it limited. But when OpenAI made one very much distinction. So OpenAI, when they released the GPT 3.5 first model, see there is GPT-1, GPT-2. You can research around it, what happened with GPT-1, what happened with GPT-2. But the public got to see the GPT 3.5, which actually made a big news and just changed a lot of things. So this GPT 3.5 allowed everyone to have access to AI, but now through the API. You don't have to host your own model locally, but you can access the token basis or the use basis cost that you can pay for some amount. And then based on that, everyone has got access to the AI, which was not feasible before to that. This allowed a generative model, which is just generating. Okay, these models are called as a next token predictor models. That's again how the systems internally work. I'll not go into that, but these are token by token. Many times you see the output that is generated in ChatGPT as a one by one, like some slow animation that happens. You ask a question and you get an animated output. So that is not animation. You're getting output like sometimes you get it a faster generation, sometimes you get it a slow generation. The reason for that is the systems are internally generating word by word. Okay, they are generating one word, two word, three word, four word. So like this, it's generating in sequence. That's why you see the output to be coming step by step rather than you getting everything in one single go. So that's why it is called as a generative AI. So generative AI requires a human prompting where we have to provide a initial input. It always works on some initial input and then it starts generating on top of it. So it requires a human prompting, executes single step tasks. You give it a prompt, you get a prompt as outcome. So every time you're giving an input prompt and based on that input prompt, you're getting a response. So it mostly performs like every time you have to provide it an input, right? Even when you're working with ChatGPT or Claude, you give it an input, you get output. Again, you have to give it an input, it will give you output. Again, you have to give it an input, you'll get output. So every time it is performing only one single step for you. So cannot independently decide the next set of actions. Okay, so there is no action part in the generative AI. It is all limited to your ChatGPT window. So within that window, what really happens is you just get an outcome. You're asking, okay, help me draft an email. It will draft an email for you. We'll ask it, okay, help me decide a project plan for something dash. So then it will give you a complete project plan. But everything is limited within that window. Okay, so it cannot do any kind of action on top of it. You cannot ask it to generate an email and send it to my manager, create a project plan and start working on the project plan. So you cannot have any actions on top of it. No ownership of multi-step processes. Again, as we discussed, only single step. It doesn't take any multi-step actions. Stops when responses is delivered. The moment you get an output, it stops. Cannot execute transactions or operation. Again, this comes down to the actions part. Acts within its conversational interface only. That is like a ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. It is just limited within that window. Limited to only output generation. Now coming to agentic AI, which is the other side of the equation, with agentic AI, we can initiate multi-step workflows. Multi-step workflows means I can give it a goal. And through that goal, we can actually say that, see, this is my goal. Now to achieve this goal, like let's say I'm giving you a project. I want to build a software that has a front end, that has a back end. Just to give you a picture, recently we had a project that actually we gave a plan of 6 months. From the 6 month, we created a plan of like 3 months. And then from the 3 month, again, like we said with agentic, we can build in 3 months. But then again, from the 3 month, we do see that it is possible to be achieved in 1.5 months. So that kind of multi-step things, the systems can take care of. Okay, a lot of development related effort. Currently, the agentic based systems are very good in software development, but it is not only limited to software development. Lot of industrial applications are possible with the agentic AI. Breaks down a complex goals into subtasks. See, we humans are very good in problem solving. We learn the whole ecosystem of training, education, learning is about how do we solve the problems. Okay, how do we solve the problems? Like engineering or any of the education that we do is not limited to only that stream. Okay, people who do mechanical come to IT, and people who do IT they go into finance. People who do marketing they come into IT, and people who do IT they go into marketing. But the goal many of the time is people learn over this educational systems how to solve the problems, and then the solve problem can be done like any area. Similarly, the agentic systems are also good in breaking down a large problem into smaller problems. And it can smartly achieve those smaller problems in a much more efficient way. Decides next best actions dynamically. Now, in the generative AI, you're giving an input, it goes through the LLM model, you get an output, that's it. But with agentic, it is generating and then it has a capability to do the self retrospection. Okay, so what do I mean by that is it says that, okay, let me complete this task. I did this, I did this. I completed one task, but the original goal is to achieve a project. It says, okay, I've completed one part, let me now go to the next part. It will again perform the next part. Again, we'll see how much I've done. Okay, now as per the original goal, I've completed two, I need to work on third. I did the third, now let me go down to the fourth. Like this, agentic systems can go beyond and work on the task or goal rather than just the individual activity. Adapt the plans based on the changing conditions. Now, this is very interesting. Many of the time, what happens is the system gives you errors. Now, when it's working, it makes mistakes. See, we as a humans also make a lot of mistakes. And similar to that, this agentic systems and these LLM systems are built on human generated data. Okay, whatever we have generated over the history, that is all being used to train the system. As humans make mistakes, this LLM systems also makes mistakes and they are not 100%. But one of the interesting thing is the way we humans try to adapt and solve the problem, again try out multiple options and see which one could work better. Similar to that, the systems also have a capability to do adapt. Okay, so we can make them adapt that, okay, see, I did a mistake. Many of the time you have seen the scenario where the system is say that, oh, I did a mistake, let me correct it for you. And then it'll start working on the correction and give you the new output. So that's an adaptation that is internally ingrained as part of this agentic systems. Works with minimal human supervision. Now, minimal is very important. Okay, so we are not saying, see, one of a term that some part of the internet is working on the hype, okay, and some part is a reality. I would say the systems are not applicable everywhere. Okay, it's not like they can automate everything and you just apply agentic everywhere and it will just take care of complete automation. It is not the case. There are a lot of situations where the existing systems still work in a much more better way. And there are some situations where agentic can help you solve things. It's not like a silver bullet that you apply everywhere. But even within that, the systems are not fully automatic. There are situations where they may fail, and we have to bring in the human supervision. So any enterprise grade systems that we build with agentic, we always keep a human in the loop element within that. So humans can come into the picture if AI is not able to solve it. So AI, we come up with the confidence scores, and AI decides that, okay, I can solve this problem with 80% confidence. I can solve this problem with 30% confidence. And based on the scores, we can decide whether it should continue with its own trajectory or it should involve a human, and that human can provide a response and then it can take it ahead. So human supervision plays a very important role when we are building this complex systems. Orchestrates tasks across multiple platforms. Now, see, in the case of platforms, there is no limit right now. Anything that is digitally available, okay, anything that is digitally available, that term is very important. It could be APIs, it could be your browser, it could be your database, it could be your file system. Any of those things which are digitally accessible, they are good to go with the agentic as a platform. A lot of improvement will happen also in the robotic space with the agentic structures, and even we will be able to achieve a lot of physical interactions through the agents with the robotics also. Okay, but yeah, currently it is more of digital platforms which are more of automatable with respect to the agentic systems. Monitor progress and adjust the execution accordingly. As I said, the systems can do retrospection. And the benefit of the retrospection is they can see what I've achieved till now and do I need to make any adjustments. If I need to make any adjustments, how can I do that? And it can continue based on that. Delivers measurable business results. Now, this part is very important for us to be involved. Okay, agentic AI, we as a orchestrators, or we need to instruct this agentic AI like what to achieve, how to measure that whatever is achieved is right or wrong. So we have to give that. And based on what we provide, it will be able to provide those business results in a much more efficient way. Okay, perfect. Yeah, we can move on. Great. Now, see how this agents really work underlying. What is really happening inside this? So first thing is, see, basically the autonomous agents, we call it autonomous, but as I said, this word autonomous to some level can confuse some people, but as a theoretical concept, we call them as autonomous agents, but we have still not reached to the stage where they're fully autonomous, where we say that they just take care of the whole thing by complete themselves. Lot of things, the systems, like as they're improving step by step. See, every few weeks there is a new model. Okay, every few weeks. Recent model, anyone knows which is the recent OpenAI and Anthropic models, like model versions? Anyone knows? what is the latest OpenAI and Anthropic model versions. Okay, they come up with a version. For example, GPT 3.5. So what is the recent versions with OpenAI and Anthropic? Claude, yes, Claude is a family of model. Okay, Claude is a family of mod, but I'm saying what is the recent version even within the Claude? Opus, again, Opus is a type of model. So Anthropic has a family of model called as a Claude. Within Claude, we have a variety of models. Okay, so variety of models based on the complexity. So one is called as a Haiku, which is a much faster, low cost, but slightly less accurate model. On top of Haiku, we have a model called as a Sonnet. And after Sonnet, we have a much more powerful model called as a Opus. Okay, good. So I think Ramo has mentioned Claude Opus 4.8 is the recent Opus model. Good, Karthikeyan. OpenAI has a recent model called as a GPT 5.5. Yes, so Opus has this 4.8, GPT has a 5.5. These are the topmost models right now in the whole AI ecosystem with all the models available. GPT 5.5 was the top model just I think last week or last to last week. 4.8 was released last week. I'm assuming it was last to last week. 4.8 was released. Till that point, 5.5 was on the top. Now 4.8 has come on top of the 5.5. And this healthy competition which goes on between all these models is a ever-going thing. Every few weeks, there is a new model update. Okay, every few weeks there is a new model update. So these things are just moving exponentially. Okay, just within last 3 4 years, so much has happened with respect to the AI, the model qualities, the model capabilities, all of it is just changing so much. And all this change is also bringing a capability where the systems can handle the autonomy in a much more efficient way. Okay, so earlier these models were not much capable, but now these models have become a lot more capable. I would not say 100%, but still a lot more capable. So when we talk about agentic, okay, so one brief I would like to give you before we talk about agent. So one thing we can first think of is the human brain versus the organs that we have. Okay, the brain that we have is the core controlling engine. So now every movement that I do, every word that I speak, everything that I see, all of it is being managed by the brain. See, brain is a controlling engine. It is using all these organs and all the senses as a data. And through this data, it is doing a complex data processing and allowing us to do the next set of action. Okay. So brain in itself, if I keep the brain out, it cannot do anything without the organs. So organs are the core ways through which the brain is able to interface and interact with the external world. Okay, my hand, my face, my eyes, nose, mouth, everything. These are being controlled by the brain. Same way, same way, scientists or people who are working with the models, what they thought is LLMs are a brain. They in itself cannot take any action, but they are very good in taking all the possible data and making a decision. That okay, if I'm giving you email, you tell me what are the steps to send the email. It can give you every single step. Open the Gmail, click on the create, put a message here, put a subject here, put a CC here, then click on the send. It can give you every single step, but it was not able to do that. But with Agentic, we have a LLM and we have a connectors. Okay, we have a LLM and we have a connectors. These connectors are like organs to the brain. Okay, connectors, you can have a connectors like APIs, databases, browser control, file system, all of it can work as a connectors or organs. LLM is your brain. An AI agent is like a body. Okay, AI agent is like a body which is doing all this, allowing a communication between the brain and the all organs. This way, whenever we give any goal to the AI agent, it first tries to understand the business objectives, the goal, and all of it. It will use LLM to identify and define. Just give me a second. My charger is down. Just give me 1 second. Perfect. Great. So now this AI agent break down the goals into the executable subtasks. In all of this, what's happening is we are getting just okay, just a second again. Yeah, sorry for the disturbances. Yeah, coming back again, we are saying the LLM is powerful enough to understand what's the problem statement, how we can break it, what could be the subtask. It will be able to do that. An AI agent as a body understands, okay, I have legs, I have eyes, I have nose, I have all these organs. Now LLM will instruct that, okay, help me move the hand, help me speak this word. So same way, when I give a problem statement, just take an example of GitHub Copilot. Now, if you're asking that, okay, help me create a front end project in React. So now we will assign it connectors. The connectors are open the file, read the file, write a file, run a command. So these are different type of connectors which are attached to the agent. Many times when you're running GitHub Copilot, you have seen that it reads a file, it writes a file, it takes a permission from you. So those are the connectors which are assigning to the LLM. So those are also called as a tools. Okay, in a technical language, those connectors are called as a tools attached to the LLM and agent. So it selects the tools and APIs required for the execution. So it first breaks down the task, and for each of the task, it understands, okay, to solve this challenge, I need this tool. To solve this challenge, I need this tool. And it runs those as an action, gets the output, and that output is again shared to the LLM, and LLM makes the next decision. Okay, so the AI agent provides all the nervous system with the connector tools. Okay, it's all the nervous system that you get where the information is flowing from the brain, like brain is just creating the signals. Those signals are passed on to the individual organs, and then the outcome from the organ again as a signal is given back to the brain. Brain again uses that signal to decide the next step. Same thing, we have LLMs and all these connectors, APIs, databases, where the LLM generates a signal that, okay, I need um, a email sending. Then that email sending will be called with all the required signals. Then again, once it is sent, it will again send back to the LLMs. If we have done that, what's the next step? So like this keeps on executing different kind of actions. And now with AI agents, we can attach n number of actions or tools. We as a humans have limited organs. We can't extend it more, but we try to extend it with external other things. Similar to that, with AI agents, we can have a n number of connectors that we can attach to it. And it can just monitor and adjust the plans dynamically and automatically. Operates with minimal human supervision. Minimal is a very important word because, again, when you're working with GitHub Copilot or any of these tools, we are required as an input to a good extent. But again, there are a lot of problem statements. Once you understand how those AI agents works and all, you will be in a better position to think which problem statement we can do autonomously and which problem statement will require a human supervision. Many projects fail in the production with the AI agents currently because people don't understand those distinctions. People run behind generating AI agents because Cloud Code and everything can generate AI agents, but they are blind enough that they just think, okay, there's an input going, there is a black box, there's an output coming, but once it starts failing, no one knows what is happening internally. So understanding that gives you a edge in terms of debugging it, understanding it, evaluating it, and then making it successful. Okay, that's what I see in the industry. People don't understand it very well, and then they start building things, but they don't understand why it starts failing, and then they think it is not working. but there are ways to make it work with good understanding of the systems. Okay, perfect. Next slide. So enterprise impact, there's a huge impact that is happening in the industry. Every enterprise you may see, they are laying off people because they see there is a power. Okay, they see that okay, people who whose work is possible to be automated, they are trying to automate, and then they think that okay, now we want to bring in the new roles. So some of the companies are understanding and trying to automate lot of stuff, automating like repetitive administrative operations. It improves the overall operational efficiency and the speed. Like currently, as I said, I use the AI as my personal assistant in lot of things, be it database, cache management, or email management, a lot of things. I can just ask it some questions and it just goes with the connectors, gathers the informations, and gives me the response. So reduces the human errors in multi-step processes, enhances cross-department collaboration to a good extent, enables faster parallel processing of data, improving performance and scalability. See, one of our benefit is we humans still need to sleep to feel fresh and start getting active again. But benefit with the AI is they don't sleep, they can be replicated if there is a need, they can be scaled. Now, if one human is doing one work, but let's say that work we want to do it for 100, with AI agents, it's possible, or with the technology. I would not say AI agent, but with any technology, we can easily scale it. Once we build a proper working agent, everything on top of it is software engineering. We can build a layers of software engineering to expand it, to scale it, and run for a large scale based systems. Okay, so it enables a faster parallel processing of humongous amount of data, and it can provide an improving benefit and scalability if you are implementing it in a right way. Okay, performance still requires a good amount of human effort to define the right strategies, the right efforts in doing and getting that automation. AI agents will not start working by day one fully automatic. Okay, lot of architectural decisions has to be done. Lot of prompting efficiency needs to be added. Then your AI agents will start working. Otherwise, if you build AI agent out of 100 times, 80 times it will give you answer, 20 times it will not give you answer. It will do something wrong. As you may also face the situation that when you do a prompting, if you ask the same question 10 times, it's possible that 9 times it will give you a relevant answer, but one of a time it will not be able to give you the answer. So those are some inherent traits within the systems. If you understand them very well, you will be able to implement much more performant systems based on the conceptual parts of it. Okay, perfect. We will move on to the next slide. So just to get you a real life case study, there are multiple case studies which are there in the market right now, but to give you one that is a well-known one, like Mercedes-Benz Financial Services, one of a well-known use cases with respect to the agentic systems, LLM systems, is a customer support, like automating the customer support, because that requires a lot of repeatable work answering the customer's questions. Like there is a 80% of the tasks are usually repetitive when we're working with the customer support things, and 20% is where some new kind of things comes into the picture. So the case was managing high volume, complex customer inquiries in the automotive sector. So that's where the Mercedes-Benz thought that okay, we should be using agentic AI to automate our customer service to a good extent. And the agent actions were used to be like they deployed a multi-agent system. Now, multi-agent is a concept basically where we say that every agent will have a specialized nature. Okay, I as a human, like if let's say we are building there is a team, within a team, every person has a unique role. If I make one person do n number of things with a variety, that person will not be able to give us a highest performance possible. That thing happens with the agentic AI also, where one agentic AI system or one agent will not be able to perform a variety of tasks if you try to give them multiple things. So we try to divide them. We try to create a specialized agents. One agent can handle the customer queries around, let's say, policy related questions. One agent will be able to handle insurance related questions. one agent will be able to handle some service related questions. So this specialized agents would be created to handle different type of problem statement. Then you get a higher accuracy. So integrated with the CRM, specialized agents collaborate to analyze customer sentiment, access their history, resolve the complex billing disputes or service request autonomously. Okay, so like this is a multi-step workflows. Now again, agentic systems has to be designed efficiently, where we define, okay, how is these things are going to be resolved, how the data is going to flow, what one agent will do, what will be the next agent doing. So we are creating a virtual team. Okay, with agents, what is happening is we are creating a virtual team who are going to solve some problems. So here also the Mercedes-Benz designed a sophisticated multi-agent system which was able to go through the data. Like again, as you can see, all of this is the connectors, like accessing the history, computing bill related data disputes, service request, all of this works as a connector to the agent. An LLM is able to use this connector to do some complex actions. Okay. And the goal, like benefit of this 25% reduction they were able to achieve using the customer complaints and 15% increase in cross-selling due to tailored real-time engagements. Okay. So a big impact. We are also working with multiple companies in building some agentic systems. And as I said, things which used to take a good amount of time, those have reduced drastically. A good amount of work has reduced. Okay. By using this agentic system, by integrating these agentic systems in the real world workflows. Perfect. Next. So challenges and risks. See, everything is good. We have talked about a lot of happy path situations, but not everything is happy. There are also things with beauty also comes with some kind of a risk, so which we have to manage in the right way. So agentic AI brings powerful autonomous execution capabilities, but it also introduces some significant challenges with respect to the governance, like how do we manage access to the agents, what agents can access as a connector, security related aspects, who will take accountability. Like if agents makes a mistake, is a human going to take accountability, or agent is going to be taking accountability, or OpenAI is going to take accountability. So those kind of things will come into the picture. Lot of things around loss of control, like you lose the control over the autonomous decisions, misalignment sometimes with the business objectives, security versus the access vulnerabilities that can come. We are connecting multiple secure data to the agents, data privacy and regulatory compliance risks. Lot of compliance and privacy based objectives are there with the regulated environments. Those has to be managed. Error amplification, if happens, that will happen at scale. If one agent starts making a mistake on one aspect, as you're scaling, that just gets scaled. Ethical bias and fairness, these models are slightly biased toward religious things, regional things, political things, gender-based things. As these models are created based on the human data is biased in nature. Similarly, these models are also biased to some degree. Integration complexity with the legacy systems. Legacy systems are not built to deal with this kind of systems. So many applications which are there right now as a legacy systems, integrating this with that takes a bit of effort. Over reliance and workforce disruption to some level is possible. Monitoring and accountability related gaps. Like it's very important, a good amount of effort is needed to monitor how it is performing, where it is going wrong, where it is going good, where is it going wrong, what is the reason, how do you mitigate it, how do you handle it. So a lot of those things also will go here, because the systems are not like traditional systems where we know that if 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, so that we know, okay, whenever 2 plus 2 is going to come, the 4 is always going to be the output. But now when you say give me the output of 2 plus 2, LLM will say, okay, the output of 2 plus 2 is 4. The 4 is the output of 2 plus 2, or it'll sometimes just say 4. The variety is there in terms of output. So how do you tackle it? How do you manage it? So those all other questions comes into this. Yeah, next. There are multiple tools in the market. These are the well-known ones. LangChain is the one who started early when this all LLM system started. So LangChain, Crew AI, Hugging Face, there is a ADK, there is a Pydantic AI. Versal AI, OpenAI Agents SDK. There are just n number of frameworks which are there in the market right now. So these are the top one. People use it based on the provider that they're working on. People who are working with Google, they go with the ADK. People who are working with AWS, they go with AWS Strands. People who are working openly, they go with LangChain. So lot of different options. Underlying the systems are not much. Okay, underlying the systems are just wrappers on top of APIs. So they are just simple. Once you understand what really happens inside, these things will not feel heavy. These are just like a wrappers which are there on the top, uh, which are there. But these are the well-known ones. Yeah. Next. So one of a thing over the program, there is a one new concept or one new learning track which is added around the Claude training tracks, both for no code people and the code people. Different tracks are available. For no code, a lot of emphasis is on how do you prompt engineer the system, how do you select the right set of models, how do you orchestrate the agentic workflows. See, Claude as a UI, when you're doing a login over the Claude or Anthropic UI, Claude.ai, you have a generative engine. Okay, that's a generative AI. So Anthropic came up with this application called as a Claude Cover, similar to Claude Code. If you've used Claude Code, which was more development oriented and more CLI based thing, so for non-tech audience, they created a thing called as a Claude Cover. Now this is agentic. Now Claude Cover can have access to your file system. You can attach it multiple connectors. It will be able to access any type of your local data, your organizational data, your mailing systems and all, which the Claude AI cannot do, the web-based version. But Claude Cowork gives those flexibility. So learning this can give you much more better power in terms of managing these agents. Cross-functional business applications, like what all business applications you can bring in. Then the code-based track helps you understand how do you implement the systems and integrate it within the applications, or you build your own agentic AI application. Like recently, I was working on one of our applications. Like we have it in multiple places, but for personal use case, I do use a tab and a pen to write a lot of things that I have in the mind. But when I'm doing this, there is no application to um, create a structured output out of the notes that I create. So recently, I just worked on a complete API based system that can now take the screenshots of whatever I'm writing and create a structured note in the back that I can easily read and again query it over the future. So using API, you can build your custom applications or build a production grade enterprise applications on top of it. So agentic systems, like how do you use Claude Code, GitHub Copilot, Codex, all of these are like some top well-known systems which are there in the market. How do you make best use of it? Okay, as I told you recently, for a 6-month project, we just said that okay, we will be able to achieve it in almost 2.5 months by leveraging this kind of a systems in a much more productive way. And then understanding how do you build enterprise deployment and safety. As I said, many people are building MVPs, but taking it to the production is not easy. People don't understand the underlying structure, and as they don't understand, there is a challenge that comes in. But understanding it will give you a lot more edge in terms of building this systems. Okay, next, I think I'll now hand it over to Rajesh to take it further. But if you have any questions, please raise it and we'll be able to answer. So I'll be here, and Rajesh, you can take it. If you have any questions, you can put it over the chat and I'll respond to those.
Yeah, hello everyone. This is Rajesh, and I'm a team lead at Great Learning. And currently, I'm taking care of onboarding and admission process for the University of Texas at Austin. So I'm here to help you more on the curriculum part, right? How this program has been structured and how it is feasible for the working professionals space who are currently looking to adopt and enhance their productivity at their different industrial works. So, talking about great learning, we are the leading edtech companies, especially for the professional and the higher educational platforms orientations. And now we are completing with more than 15,000 plus of career transitions, and we are crossing over 4,200 plus hiring partners. Okay. So we had a journey, especially in terms of how we gradually enhance from data to AI, and now this 12 months program, which we are hosting from University of Texas at Austin in collaborations with the Great Lakes Institute of Management. So we would be much interested to interact with you further on this particular program and get your questions addressed. As Rushikesh has tried to answer most of the questions on the current adoptions on the infrastructural side of Anthropic Cloud, which is not only open for the coders and programmer, but now we have a gradual increment on the people who are coming from a non-coding background as well, because Rushikesh has given insights like how for the non-coders and non-programmer, we are having the better way how we can start solving a different set of business problems across the different industry, domain, and technology. So further, like about this 12 months program, it's completely an industry-led education system. And here you will be having a 20 to 25 micro batch policy that we conduct in a similar experience professional brackets. And these classes would be scheduled either Saturday or Sunday. Right. So it's a very flexible once it comes to the working professional space. And especially once it comes to the peer-to-peer connectivity, it's very important for us to adopt AI. But again, the connectivity should be happen at a very same level of expertise and experience, because that will help you not only to learn the applications of AI, but rather how you are adopting to improve your productivity in a different industry domain and the kind of technology that we are managing. Okay. So it's a weekend session, and Monday to Friday, we provide you certain insights, which will be directly published by the University of Texas at Austin, which is ranked fourth in the US for the business analytics. And we are managing this program from quite a decade here in India, right? So once it comes to faculty, these are the people who have started this program, and they are the founder of this particular PGP AI and machine learning program, starting from Dr. Kumar Muthuraman, who is the head of research and analytics at UTA, followed by Mr. D. Narayana. Okay, he's a professor for artificial intelligence and machine learning at Great Learning, and Professor Ravinanda Sarkar. He's one of the top ranked academicians in India for the data science. And Mr. Sayande is an independent consultant for the AI and deep learning. Okay, so these are the P's who have built this foundational part of the program initially, when this program was gradually reshaping from a core of data, how we are reshaping into artificial intelligence, and now addition of modern AI systems, right? So how this curriculum starts with, before you interact to the machine learning and especially deep learning segments, we give you a quick brief in terms of how you are having experience towards the Python programming with the generative AI pre-works. Now here it comes to, before you interact solving the complexity on the data, we do give you exposure to the Python programming, and this is a kind of a training that we provide to everyone. Maybe you are having Python training from the beginning, or might be you are looking to start from the scratch level. So in foundations, you are having introductions of Python, where you interact with the different libraries, functions, and routines. Then you followed to the SQL, okay, applied stats, EDA, and data pre-processing. Okay. There will be certain modules which we provide in the self modules, right? That is a multi-modal generative AI recommendation systems and the object detection and sentiment analysis, segmentations, right? Now, domain exposure part, like supervised learning, semi-supervised learning, introductions to the neural networks and computer vision, followed by the natural language processing. And we are covering more than 27 plus of tools, okay? Like pandas, numpy, especially how you are training the deep learning, and especially the newer kind of neural networks you have to design and train. So you are going to have a very a strong exposure towards TensorFlow and PyTorch to handle the large amount of data, especially once you are trying to build any kind of enterprise applications into a different domain and industrial use cases, right? So this programs comes with end-to-end 12 industry projects, where 11 is a module-based projects that we ensure every topic that you are covering here in this particular program, it's not only about learning about the grammatical exposure, rather you are working parallelly to the different use cases to ensure once you are going back to the industry, whether you are in a situations to adopt and implement or not, rather just understanding some grammatical exposure. So likewise, you are going to have 11 module based projects with a capstone project. Capstone is basically a final and the integral part of the program, and that will ensure the kind of exposure and experience that you have towards AI and machine learning, right? Till the eighth or ninth month of the program, you are utilizing in a final a kind of a output, right, to work on the capstone project. Okay. So once it comes to the peer-to-peer connectivity, the kind of networking that you are learning AI, not at some small level, but yeah, you are having a very global connects with University of Texas, okay, to understand and implement as well. Yeah. Now we do have a 4,200 plus career, the supporting companies. So starting from the career transition point of view, what we do here, the time once you finish around 60 to 70% of your projects out of 12 projects, it comes around sixth or seventh month of the program. Our parallel team will help you. How we are helping you in terms of building your CV, LinkedIn customization, making you ready for the job interviews. And then we start sending you the job interviews directly to your learning management board. Okay. Now, for example, if you can see here, like we have people like Avishek, who was working for artificial intelligence and machine learning, and he was basically assistant manager for the Genpact. Okay. Now, after completions of the program, he transitioned into Mu Sigma, okay, for this particular AI domain. So likewise, we have a multiple stories, and especially I try to add my points, especially to transition that we have done through data and AI in the last 6.5 years to around 7 years. It's more than 15,000 transition that we have completed with this coming to the 4,200 companies, which took us, around a decades. So these are the few testimonials for your informations. So if you all have any questions, I would be, requesting all of you to please drop your questions regarding the admission process, okay, regarding knowing more on this program structure or anything that you want to interact with and understand, okay, or any questions to Rushikesh, I will request all of you. My team is going to drop a Google sheet in this particular chat. And I would request all of you to fill these details, and where my team will be more interested to interact and try to help you and assist you with all the questions on call.
Answer some of the questions which were there in the
Yeah, I
chat.
would request Rushikesh if you can answer those questions.
Yeah, I've already added over the chat.
Yeah.
But if anyone's questions are missed, please share them. I think one of a question coming is what is the fees
Okay.
over the chat, Rajesh? Yeah.
Yeah. So I will take that questions. Yeah, so the first question which I have here is regarding the financial parts of this program. Okay, so the complete fee structure of this education in INR, that comes to 2,75,000 plus 18% is a GST. Okay, so that comes to 3,24,500. Okay, now before you start getting into the fees payments, we do have certain evaluation criteria that we check. And first of all, I would request all of you to have those discussion. Okay, to understand first of all that how this AI can be adopted according to your diverse industry. I mean, the domain that you are currently working and the kind of KRAs that you are managing at this moment. That will not only give you the understanding that how this course is going to be feasible at your level, but parallelly you would understand that the kind of investment that you are trying to do, that's in terms of the cost and money, how it's providing you the ROI after an year. Okay, so I would be interested with my team to have a further discussion, and we have dropped this particular Google sheet, and we would be much interested to understand your further interest towards the program, so that my team can interact with you, and they would like to definitely assist and answer all the questions, not only to the financial part, but they will also help you in terms of how the admission process works, what is the deadline and the time of the admissions happens for the Indian students, the time of the commencement of the program, and also the further questions that you have, that will definitely try to answer those questions. Yeah. Now, the last question, which is coming regarding 12th pass out. I think, Rushikesh, these questions you highlighted in the beginning of the program, I mean, the discussion which we were having. So, if you would like to answer these questions,
Yeah. So, see, I think as I mentioned, after 12 pass, right now, how the industry is going to be in the next 4 to 5 years is a very difficult thing that we have. Lot of things are unpredicted, but one of a core thing I would say is through all of this engineering and BSc, any of it, the core thing that you should learn is the problem solving. Okay, so wherever you are able to understand the better way of getting problem solving, that would be a core skill, because most of the things that I learned in engineering are not useful afterwards. To be frank with my learning and even with many people, but over any institute that you go, try to understand how you can be a good problem solver. Okay, so that is one thing I can give. Second thing is I'm mechanical design engineer, how it can be helpful to change my career in AI ML. So surely I think see, that is a helpful one. Transitioning to the AI ML, many people I have seen who have moved from mechanical to AI ML and the tech space. So see, even within mechanical, right now AI is coming up as a boom. Lot of new things are happening with the proper usage of AI, even within the mechanical. But pure AI ML, also you can do a good transition. That's a surely doable task.
thank you, Rishikesh. And the
Yeah.
last question, which we have here, I'm a mechanical design engineer, and how it can helpful to change my career. Okay.
Yeah, I've already answered that.
Okay, that
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
great. So, any further questions, if you have, you just feel free to drop. Or, moreover, you can just sign up for this Google form, where my team will be more interested to have a further discussions and give you all the clarifications around your different questions. Yeah.
Sure. Perfect, guys. Thanks a lot. Have
Thank
a
you,
great
Rishikesh,
time.
for
Thanks
joining
for this
us. Yeah,
great
great.
audience. Yeah, yeah. Okay, take care, everyone.